This is Unit 1.2, Real Numbers, adapted from Glencoe book, Properties of Real Numbers. Please take down your notes. We've already reviewed and discussed several things. Let's first of all look at real numbers. Real numbers are made up of one or two things: rational or irrational numbers. What are irrational numbers? Numbers are either real rational or real irrational. Let me back that up just a bit. Numbers are either real, but the question is, are they real rational numbers or real irrational? And irrational looks like it got cut off at the end there. Here's the proper spelling. Irrational numbers are numbers such as you get square root 3, square root 11, square root 7, pi. Basically, they're numbers that don't terminate. Like pi is 3.14, continues on forever and ever. If you turn the calculator later on and then leave it on the night and come back tomorrow and the numbers are still running. Irrational numbers are just the numbers that don't terminate. Well, you can have really rational numbers or you can have rational, which we've been talking about. What are rational numbers? Rational numbers, there are lots of different types of rational numbers. You can have a rational number that's a fraction, like 1/2, or it will turn into a decimal, 0.5, or 1/3. Okay? Although 1/3 repeats as 0.333, so we transform this 1/3 into a decimal, it'll be 0.3333, keep going on. So, rational numbers can be fractions that end like 1/2 or 5/10, or they can be fractions that have a repeating decimal. If it's a repeating decimal, it's rational. Remember, if it doesn't terminate, then it's going to, if it does not terminate, then it'll be irrational. Let me take that back. If it does terminate, it's going to be a rational, or if it's a repeating decimal, it'll be rational. Decimals are also rational numbers. Whole numbers are also rational. Remember, whole numbers include zeros: 0, 1, 2, 3, 22. All whole positive numbers. So whole numbers are going to be positive whole numbers, which we discussed. And it includes 0. Okay, so whole numbers are positive whole numbers that include 0. Then you have integers. Integers are whole numbers plus their opposite. Integers are whole numbers plus their opposite. So, whole numbers plus their opposite. Okay, again, integers are whole numbers, so whatever you have for whole numbers plus whatever opposite. You know, the opposite of -1 is positive 1. The opposite of -16 is positive 16. So integers are whatever whole number you have, plus it can also be its opposite. And integers are also rational numbers. Natural numbers are pretty much the same as whole number. The difference between a whole number and a natural number is a natural number does not include 0. A natural number does not include 0. So it's all the whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up. All whole positive number, but it excludes, there's no 0 in a natural number. So it's positive whole numbers starting at 1. And it should already be in your notes. This is just a review. Okay? What I don't want you to get tricked on is, we talked about roots. Okay, don't get tricked on something like the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is actually rational. Because, why? And actually because square root of 4 is 2. And 2, which is a whole number, it's also considered an integer, and it's also considered a natural number. And all three of these, whole numbers, integers, and natural numbers, are examples of rational numbers. So there are many forms or types, different types of rational numbers. Again, rational numbers can be a fraction, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/8. A rational number can be a decimal, 3 5/10, 8/10, and so on. A rational number can be a whole number. Remember, whole numbers are all whole numbers starting at 0. Okay? So starting at 0 for whole numbers. A rational number can also be an integer. It's all whole numbers, plus it's also their opposite. So it can be the positive and the negative whole number. Rational numbers are also natural numbers. And remember, whole numbers and natural are pretty close. The only difference is natural numbers don't include 0. You're going to start at 1 for a natural number and it's all a whole number. And again, square root 4 is an example of a rational number because square root 4 is 2. Square root 25, which is 5. Okay? So rational, real numbers. Remember, real numbers are made up of rational numbers or irrational. And the easiest one to remember is what an irrational is. Irrational are just numbers that don't terminate. They'll go on forever. Pi, square root 3, and square root 11. Okay? And again, these should already be in your notes.